When working with vectors in more than one dimension, it's even more important to make sure that we are specifying when we're working with vectors versus when we're dealing with their magnitudes, because the difference between them is even more pronounced than simply being whether or not it has a positive or negative sign. So we'll make sure that we use our vector signs like this whenever appropriate. But aside from that, the relationship among position, velocity, and acceleration works exactly the same way that we've seen before. That is, the average velocity vector in any number of dimensions is simply the change in the position vector, or in other words, the displacement, divided by time, of course measured in meters per second. And this is true regardless of whether the position vector has x components, y components, z components, all of the above. If it starts off with an x component and ends up with a y component, etc. It's all still contained in this equation. And likewise, the instantaneous velocity is still simply the time derivative of the position at any given point. And as you might expect, the same is true for acceleration. Whoops, getting these mixed up there. There we go. That the average acceleration is simply equal to the change in the velocity vector over time, and that the instantaneous acceleration is simply the time derivative of the velocity vector, or the second time derivative of the position vector. So nothing has changed here. These are the same relationships we're used to seeing before, but I want to take a few minutes in the next couple of examples to illustrate how these change. However, before we do that, we want to talk a little bit about a new way of writing and representing vectors. They're going to make things a little bit more confusing looking at first, but a lot easier to deal with once you get the hang of it. We'll take a look at that in the next video.